Hello, good evening to you and welcome to News 360. We are live from the News Hub here at Depreciation Kanda. I'm Natalie Fort.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Coming up in the bulletin in the next 60 minutes.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
4 persons arrested after disrupting a news conference at Gamashi in Accra following threats to install a new gamanche.
And quack doctor practicing at Covenant Clinic at Medina in Accra re-arrested.
Substandard electrical cables flood the markets despite being a major cause of domestic and industrial fires.
And in business this evening, Institute of Fiscal Studies recommends tackling the fundamentals of the economy if government does not want the current stability of the cedi to be short-lived.
And on the international front, tonight, Kenya's repeat presidential election to take place on Thursday as planned.
Remember, this bulletin is streaming live on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook. And our very first story this evening, 4 persons have been after chaos erupted during a news conference by the Eliquah II at Gamashi in Accra following threats by the Royal House to install a new gamanche. According to the Eliquah II, it is the rightful plan to install a new gamanche.
Scores of young men besieged the Eliquah II, where one faction of the chieftaincy dispute was organizing a news conference to reaffirm his commitment at ensuring the welfare of the Ghana state. Some irate men pelted the organizers of the news conference with bottles, resulting in the clash.
We were all here relaxing when we heard some noise in the house. We saw bottles all over the place. We had to quickly run away with our kids.
We need peace.
Some of us have nowhere to go, so we need peace.
Security personnel had to rush to the scene to ensure calm. It is not clear when the police will leave the grounds.
In other top news this evening, electrical faults have been cited as a major cause of fire outbreaks in the country. But for a price difference of 20 cedis, consumers would risk their lives to buy substandard electrical cables. Now, should cost be an excuse for blatant disregard for standards? Well, Catherine Frimpoma has more.
The Ghana Standards Authority estimates 80% of electrical cables on the Ghanaian market are substandard. Opera Square is a hub of electrical cables in the capital. Here, all kinds of electrical materials are on sale. So just like we were educated by the Ghana Standards Authority, this is what you look out for as a consumer when you go out to buy a cable. This is imported, but the country of origin is here, made in Turkey. The size, the type, the voltage, the standard, and the length are all embossed on the cable. This is also the locally manufactured one, which is Nexans, and it also has the same specifications. But how would you know, especially in a case when you come to buy in small quantities, let's say a yard or 2, and it is not going to come in a bundle like this that will have the specification? Let's find out how you can also identify in case you are buying in smaller quantities.
It's also written on the cable, the place of origin, the size. So if it's the Turkey cable, you see it written on the cable made in Turkey. If it's cable metal, you see it written on the cable, and the size as well. For instance, this is cable metal. So as you can see, Nezan's cable metal, Ghana Limited.
Okay.
See, and the size is 2.5.
Consumers are updated on the difference in quality, but for them, cost is a major determinant.
For the Turkey one, 1.5 is 70 cedis, and for the Ghana one, 1.5 is 90 cedis. See, so with the 1.5, the difference is 20 cedis. So if the customer is buying, let's say like 20 coils, you can see the difference.
There are shops, though defensive, agree they deal in substandard cables.
Standard. British standard.
China. Mostly China.
China.
Yes.
If China, then no matter British standard.
That's a business strategy.
Na company ye din ni ade nyina me hu box yi.
So I'm not wrong. 80. Onipa na sample no. So onipa na sample no.
Standards Authority for so cheche mu say o beto cable na we say hu say efi okay we made in country of origin, importer, manufacturer, or address na we say wo hu we so ebi ni hu sa.
Okay. When they press ebi ni hu say na o come na.
Ebi ni hu.
Ebi ni hu. Go to ebi ni hu.
We na one dey form mum. Our form. But also it depends market no bu a ni sika asem ni ntino. Ebi a taking 2.5 no ebi 100 Ghana. Ebi obaka se me sika nso. Unya dey form mame. Obi a ye British standard no. Ebi a we no. Ebi a 40 Ghana. Ntino uchire mu no channel okay na man 40 Ghana no.
Richard, an electrician, has visited the shop to buy cables for a house he is wiring. He's one of the few certified by the Energy Commission and tells me how he haggles with clients over which cables to use.
Sometimes the house owners, when you make some estimate for them themselves go to the market and ask for the price. So when they look after, when they look of that price, they request it. But because of you want to do good quality job and you don't to have problem with Energy Commission people, you don't have to accept the this thing, the cables.
The danger is that substandard cables indeed dominate the market, but consumers also prefer them because they are cheaper. Samos Tuba is the managing director of one of the shops.
Authorities, they are not trying. Standard board, they must check all these under standard cables. It's causing a lot of fire.
Are they on the market? Because
they are in the market.
I've been around there. It looks like I'm not seeing.
I can show you. I can bring samples and show you. I can bring from other people and show you, and I'll do the experiment for you yourself to see.
And they are selling them on the market.
Selling it, and our people are not controlling the market.
Electrical faults have been cited as a major cause of fire outbreaks in the country, and cost should not be an excuse for blatant disregard for standards. Catherine Fempoma, TV3 News, Accra.
And certainly cost should not be an excuse, and questions have been raised as to why the authorities at the ports of entry do allow these substandard products to get onto a market, and this is something we're going to be staying the steam on in the subsequent bulletins. But 5 years after the Melcom disaster, employers and customers of the company's facilities have been insured in the event of any accident. The collapse of the Achimota structure in 2012 has raised questions of safety of employees at workplaces. Komla Kluche has the rest of the story.
Disaster struck, the mall holding facility crumbled with some 14 lives lost and others maimed. the Chimota Neoplan Malcolm disaster will go down as one of the preventable accidents, as the warnings were ignored by owners of the facility. The land has since been left unoccupied.
It's been a very sobering effect for us, and we have taken it extremely seriously. And wherever practical, we prefer to put up our own building, but this is not possible.
5 years on, a $5 million investment into a new edifice has been put up by the company.
All those who are working here and all those who shop here are covered by insurance, comprehensive insurance.
From the entry, the escalators, fire exit point and customer exit, Malcolm says customer satisfaction is key. For Malcolm, the respite is for an environment where employees and customers will be safe. The decision to invest in its own structures other than rented facilities whose credibility cannot be vouched for.
For businesses to be efficient in doing and delivering the wealth that we all crave for, the jobs that we all crave for, the public sector or the regulatory environment must also be strengthened. And that is what you can see in so many other areas happening now.
In other news, a quack doctor practicing at Covenant Clinic at Medina in Accra has been re-arrested. Arimayao Adams is among the 19 quack doctors arrested and ordered by the Medical and Dental Council to stop operating.
Covenant Clinic is one of the facilities that was closed down somewhere last year. This place, I'm told, was barricaded so that the facility would not function or would not operate. But we are here today and the place is functioning.
Together with the investigator from the Ghana Medical and Dental Council, the news team barged into the quack doctor's consulting room.
We are following up on the story, and we have been told that this facility has been closed down only for us to come here, and the place is working. We just want to know, Alhaji. We just want to know. How long has this place been off? Alhaji, how long has this place been off?
Alhaji, put it off. You put it off. It's off, don't worry. You talk. You talk, don't worry. Put it off, please. Put it off.
So, what do you want to talk to him about?
Alhaji, if you have anything, let's say it here. No, I won't talk to you in private, Alhaji. If you have anything, you have my number, right? Yeah. I do call you, you have my number. So if I had not come here today, Alhaji, if I had not been here today, will I even come to know?
I misplaced my phone, that's why.
It doesn't matter. When was the last time you came to court?
I said my phone was totally.
It doesn't matter. When was the last time you came to court?
You forget about it. We don't discuss about that later.
Which one? No, me, I'm only doing my work. I have finished my work, so there is no need.
Some patients had obviously come there to seek medical care. The 2 certificates hanging in the consulting room certifies his facility has passed the environmental health and sanitation. Arimayao has been operating for the past 20 years here as a medical doctor. The records book here show the facility is highly patronized, but the wards were in poor shape and the pharmacy messy. He operated a laboratory. The investigator reported the case to the Medina police for his rearrest. He is currently in the custody of the regional CID headquarters.
Now, you would all admit that the issue of fake doctors is certainly a very worrying one because it has to do with human lives, in fact. And we hope that the introduction of stamps by the Medical and Dental Council in early 2018, January 2018, will see this issue curbed. But I'm going to run you by the regional breakdown of arrested fake doctors. Investigations by the Medical and Dental Council have led to the arrest of 20 quack doctors across the country since January 2016. And to some, this figure may seem quite small in as much as how serious the case is, but you would know that one doctor would obviously not be visited by one patient. Many patients are going to be visiting the hospital, and that's what makes it particularly worrying. Now, in the Greater Accra region alone, 12 quack doctors, Volta region 2, Eastern region 2, and the Bono Ahafo region 1, and the Central region 3. Now, as I said earlier, the stamps that are going to be introduced in 2013, as well as tags to be worn by these doctors, so that persons who visit these hospitals shall be able to identify those that those services they're not particularly pleased with, should certainly help. But Alfred, it's a big concern, because these are people's lives at stake.
True, and I mean, I am here, and if I decide to go to the hospital or clinic, what do I really look out for? And innocently, Ghanaians watching out there would have to know something. The registrar of the Medical and Dental Council, fortunately, is with us in studio, Dr. Eliquah II. Doc, good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening.
How come that Aremiao, who was arrested some time ago, was released and went into practice and has been doing this for 20 years, treating innocent Ghanaians, or whatever precautions has been given to them?
I would only talk about the time of his arrest and his rearrest. He was arrested the first time in May 2016. And as to how long he had practiced, I think we needed to have gotten that from the place. Yeah, you know, what really happens is that anybody that holds himself up and practices as a doctor without recourse to the law is a criminal offense. And it is spelled out in the Health Professions Regulatory Bodies Act 2013 at 857, which makes it a criminal case. So what happens is that we, in collaboration with the police, do the arrest, and we hand over the individuals to the police for them to continue with the investigations, and then they arrange before the person before court for the court to take the decision. So we really do not do the prosecution. It is the police and then the court that really do that.
I see, what I'm worried about is that this person was first arrested in May 2016, and you denounced him, I would assume. He was able to get back into practice, and was arrested again.
Yeah, I will tell you what happened.
That's where the concern is.
I'll tell you what happened. Apparently, this individual was arrested, he was investigated, he was charged, and arraigned before court. My team went to court a couple of times, I think about 4 times. And then somewhere along the line, I was informed that a gentleman had ceased coming to court and was submitting some excuse duties. It was only today that I learned that this gentleman was really submitting some excuse duties to the court. As to from wherever he was getting these excuse duties, I wouldn't be able to ascertain.
That he was not well to attend
He wasn't
to court
well
duties.
to attend court, right? And I think at the last count, sometime early this year, there was a bench warrant that was issued for his arrest because he had refused to attend court. So we had left that to the police. So today, when your team came to the office, we had a discussion, and they said they would wish to visit one of the institutions, which was closed down. And they got there, and this gentleman was found practicing.
Beyond that does not raise questions about the monitoring of the Medical and Dental Council, because you had closed the facility down, and then this person was able to go back in there and start operating when he had already been arrested and arraigned before court. He wasn't appearing before court, and he had gone back to practice, and you didn't know anything about it until the police came up, or we came to your office to talk about this.
You see, the issue is that we would expect that having arrested the person or having caused the person to be arrested, you know, the legal process takes place, you know, takes its own course. So at the end of the day, we would have to go back, right, to go find out as to whether the institution that was originally closed remained closed. Yes, I do agree that, yes, there were other things that came up. But again, this was an individual for whom an arrest warrant was issued. So we would have expected that at least, whilst, you know, that arrest warrant was issued, you know, the police may really look for him. And where would they find him? Either in his home or wherever they might have thought that he would be.
How effective is your monitoring as a council? You know, and I'm concerned about this because the ordinary Ghanaian innocent who's watching us now would not have. All we know is that we're going to the hospital or clinic to get health care from a qualified doctor or any other medical practitioner. We do not suspect anything because we don't know. What is your monitoring to assure the people that we're safe?
No, you see, we do a lot of monitoring. And it was through the normal monitoring or our routine monitoring that this individual was initially picked up. Right. So, you see, we have the country, you know, divided into several segments. So we start with the Greater Accra, we combine the Eastern region and the Volta region, the Central region and the Western region, the 3 northern regions, and then Ashanti region stands on its own, and then we have the Brong-Ahafo region. So we have groups that go there. Unfortunately, you know, if you look at our staff strength, we also have a limitation. But again, I should tell you that, look, the monitoring that we continue to do, that is what really had revealed the issue that there are quite a number of people out there who are practicing illegal.
In fact, there's a suspicion that these fake doctors, there could be more in the system, Doc. Don't you think so?
I wouldn't disagree with you.
You agree with me?
I wouldn't disagree with you.
What you're trying to say is that you agree with me that
I
there
do,
could be more
I do.
fake doctors in the
you
system?
see, because if Greater Accra should have as many as 12, right? Then what happens in remote areas where people really are in need of the health care, and we really do not have the established hospitals or clinics in there. So definitely there will be a lot. But again, once we've gotten started, we're going to continue and we try to fish out as many as we can.
What do we look out for? I mean, Ghanaians watching us now, to ensure that we are in the right and safe hands of people who are certified by your council to give us health care?
You see, I indicated that a professional is a professional. And when you enter into a clinic to be attended to by a professional, you see, you need to also watch out for the individual's approach to the examination that is going to be conducted on you, the patient. You need to really look at the way the individual is going to speak to you. You know, once you are able to determine that maybe the way this individual is conducting himself, well, let me devoid of himself or herself, because as we speak now, we really haven't accosted any female. So the way the individual is carrying himself up will create a problem. So you get suspicious and you find out from the Medical and Dental Council and the institution.
Very confident tricksters.
I agree with you on that. But again, you see, in the first place, you enter an environment and you realize that that environment doesn't look like the normal clinic setting. You know, if you look at the video that was shown,
yes, right.
You know, you realize that this is not an institution that individuals should enter seeking for medical care or health care.
Because of cost, people resort to some of these and get away.
I indicated earlier that if we're looking at costs, for all you know, the money that are being paid, you know, in such institutions might be higher. And we expect that a number of Ghanaians should be on the National Health Insurance Scheme. And therefore, they could go to the institutions that are accredited. And I'll be surprised if an institution like this is accredited by the National Health Insurance Authority.
You should look out for all those.
For all these things.
Doc, I would want to thank you very much for your time this evening. This conversation would continue, and the sensitization will continue. And I'm grateful that you made your time to join us. The Registrar of the Medical and Dental Council, Dr. Eliquah II, they're talking about this. You should be on the lookout to make sure that you're not in the wrong hands, giving you wrong medications. But let's find out how.
Watching News 360 from the News Hub at Adisawe, Kanda. We've got some news from the world of business shortly. Stay with us.
Year-to-date depreciation as of August this year was 4.53%, compared to last year's depreciation over the same period at 3.81%. Although remaining stable to the dollar, the cedi has depreciated by 8.24% to the pound and 15% to the euro, according to data from the IFS. Despite its stability on the average, economist with the IFS, Dr. Edusa, says it is not sustainable.
You raise bond, which was bought by foreigners, and foreigners had to buy with their dollars, so you're getting more dollars. That is why the cedi stabilized. This is not a sustainable way of stabilizing your cedi.
He said the fundamentals of the economy which causes the cedi to depreciate persists and needs to be tackled.
Our dependence on import is still there. Our inability to process our primary product is still there. Our inability to grow the economy on the non-oil sector, that is agriculture manufacturing, that problem is still there. We need to tackle these problems for us to have a sustainable cedi stability in the economy.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has opened the first aerospace and aviation exhibition of West Africa in Accra, promising to ensure investment in infrastructure to enhance the growth of the sector.
The three-day event brings together major investors in Africa to discover latest developments and innovations. The air show also provides an opportunity for manufacturers and service providers to explore and meet potential customers.
General business and commercial aviation have seen strong growth within Africa in terms of the number of aircraft movements, passenger throughputs, and registered aircraft. The outlook for Ghana's aviation industry remains bright, with many exciting job opportunities as the demand for air travel grows.
President Akufo-Addo stressed the need to invest in the sector to enhance air travel.
Government has recreated the aviation industry to develop the Ghanaian aviation industry and make it highly competitive within the West African region. There are ongoing and upcoming projects in Ghana's aviation sector, which will lead to an enhanced air travel experience.
The event is expected to highlight the range of new technologies within the sector.
Now, imagine waking up in a luxury Taj lodge to a beautiful African morning with breathtaking views of unspoiled forests, observing the miracle of nature with giraffes striding by and antelopes and zebras grazing in the distance. I wouldn't want to imagine. I want to live that. But this is in the offing following the sword cutting at Gomwa in Siayem in the central region of the first safari park in Ghana by Crown Forest Limited.
Crown Forest Limited, a wholly Ghanaian-owned company, has acquired 820 acres of land at Gomwa in Siayem in the central region for the development of West Africa's first private safari eco-park. The 500-acre safari eco-park will offer a unique wildlife experience to visitors. Other complementary services will include game watching, trekking, fruit picking, swimming, indoor and outdoor games, gym and spa. The chief executive of Crown Forest Limited, Samuel Winfo, said the project, when completed, will be a perfect escape to nature.
Enjoy animal tourism, ecotourism, adventure tourism. We are going to have conference tourism here as well. So in a nutshell, it's going to be everything that you would normally travel to South Africa, escape to nature, get away from all the noise.
The MP for Gomwa Central, Nana Iya, is elated the project is being undertaken in her constituency.
It's going to help the community because every time I keep on saying that there's no revenue here in Gomwa Central. So by the grace of God, if someone have a vision like this, and at least having a land in Gomwa Central to do this job, obviously I'm very happy.
The CEO of Universal Merchant Bank, John Ewa, said the UMB Center for Small Businesses is ready to assist many more Ghanaians realize their dreams.
Activities at the Center for Businesses. So this customer, for instance, opened his account at the UMB Center for Businesses at Kaswa, and brought his plans to us. We had a look at the plans. We loved the concept. We came, we've toured the whole forest with them, understood the concept. We are very convinced that this is some of the kind of partnerships that we require as a country. It's facilitated by a financial intermediary, the kind that UMB has always been party to, that is a Universal Merchant Bank. That is what we have done in our 45-year history.
That is when you say if wishes were horses. Well, we're wrapping it up with business on the producer price inflation for the month of September, which inched up by 1% to 7.6% there. Preferably, you could say it increased there, and this was caused by the recent increase in petroleum prices as well as gold prices on the commodities market. We'll be giving you more detail in subsequent bulletins, but that will do for Business Tonight. My name is Eliquah II. More on News 360. Good evening.
Show Mentor One. how has he fared in 11 years after rising to fame? Also, Orai gets up close and personal with Mentor 1 star Andy Kodia, also known as Odaki.
Physically, he didn't have the regular features of a typical Rastafarian, but on stage he depicted one. And he became the man of the people thanks to his stage presence, his admirable patois-spiced lyrics, and oh, he was full of surprises. Occasionally he adopted props to spice up his show and excite fans. The Kumasi representative placed second at the finals of Mentor 1 in 2006. Staying relevant required the rising star to record his own songs.
After releasing my first album with Samini, Dangerous Weather, and then Sweetie, the hit song on the first album, I didn't know much about showbiz, so I decided to work on my talent. I have the talent, and TV3 gave me the fame. So if you have the talent, and you have the fame, and you don't have the knowledge, by all means you perish.
Andy's dreams of becoming a national star were short-lived. After that hit, staying consistent has proven difficult.
I'm still working to make them proud. No disappointment.
He hinted other developments beyond his control hampered his progress. The Sweetie composer cited the infamous split of the High Life duo, Wuta, in 2010 as one of such bad omen.
It took me 3 months to become an artist, so I decided to follow Kwabena, Samini, Wuta, my mentor. They trained me in the mentor house. When they split, it was like, where am I going, left or right? Because since they were my mentor in the mentor house, when I come to Accra, I go to them, I seek advice and all that. But then, thank God they are back now.
Andy still has some lovely lyrics up his sleeves. His second album may drop sooner than you expect.
I'm also ready to release my second album. And for second two, Area Hunyadi, se when ye bia, a dying yakasi, se wesibia, CD dollar, nara pound, se when ye bia, and maninya wagin, se nipa yedria, or no so ye nipa te se wa. If you have money, you have to show love to people so that Nyamin Shao Kekeno will take you far. I know my fans are die-hard fans. They shouldn't give up on me because I'm not giving up on them. They keep fighting me.
Well, he still has love for the music. Things might not be easy, but he still has love for the music.
There are a lot of the mentor stars out there. I know of Kofi. Kofi is with, I think, Royal House Chapel now doing some stuff. That's amazing. Something to look out for. But we want to thank you for spending your 60 minutes with us here on News 360. On behalf of the rest of the team,